Welcome everyone to this meeting of the virtual IMS user group. Thank you for joining us. I'm Trevor Eddles. I'm CEO of iTechEd Limited. We're a mainframe consultancy, analysis and technical authoring organisation. We're the people responsible for the content on the virtual IMS website, and we also produce newsletters. We also look after the virtual CICS user group as well. So, first of all, then, let's run through the agenda for this meeting. As usual, most of the meeting will be taking up the presentation, and today our guest presenter is Glenn Witt, who's Principal SQA Engineer at BMC Software, and his talk is called Managing Changes in IMS Environments. And Glenn is standing in at quite short notice for James Wilson, so thank you very much for doing that, Glenn. A copy of the slides from the presentation will be on the website later today. And by the way, if you missed any of our previous meetings, you can download copies of the presentations from our website, and you can also listen again to the whole session. So there's a link on the resources page. So our website is fundy.com/virtualims. And then from there, you can just navigate where you want. So following Glenn's presentations and any questions you have for him, we'll move on to the latest IMS news and latest IMS related articles. Feedback requests is there to remind me to ask you for your feedback about this virtual meeting, and then I'll give you the dates and times for the next couple of virtual meetings. So that's the plan for this meeting. I'm anticipating that it will last for about 40 minutes or so. Anyway, as I just said, today's presentation is from Glenn Witt. Glenn is a Principal SQA Engineer with BMC Software. He's worked in the IMS Database Utilities Group for over 28 years, specialising in software quality. He has a Bachelor of Science degree from Indiana University, and he's worked in financial and airline businesses before joining BMC. So Glenn, I'd like to thank you very much for being with us today, and what I'm going to do is pass control over to you. So let me just do that now. Okay, so you should be able to share your screen now, Glenn. Yep.
Very good. Thank you, Trevor. And hello to everybody who's out there. If you're expecting James, unfortunately, James had a conflict today and could not be available for this presentation. So he asked me to stand in for him. What we're going to talk about today are managing changes in IMS environments. As we've gone through the years, IMS has pretty much remained stable for most of the time. Recently with IMS 14, 15, there have been lots of changes to the environment, moving from traditional ACB driven type environments to the IMS catalog. In addition to the IMS catalog, having managed ACBs in the environment also. So making changes in IMS has changed. So what we're going to do today is discuss the types of changes. And we're going to cover some general steps. And we'll talk about specific challenges in various environments. So the types of environments that we're now faced with in IMS are the legacy environment, with the DVD lives, PSP lives, and ACB lives. And then changes to that all activate through the online change commands dealing with the ACB line A and B along the staging. Catalog came along and we've introduced the similar environment with the legacy environment, we've added the catalog. So now we have to do ACB gens to catalog populate, and then follow that with online change. In the IMS managed ACBs environment, we have the catalog and directories, which are very similar to ACB libraries, but IMS manages these libraries for us. We've also introduced DDL that can make changes or add DVDs and PSBs to the environment. And the Type 2 import command is in play with that. There are other objects that are also needed to be changed in these environments. BRC changes, omitting databases or changing databases, or LDBs or not healthy. There may be MDA library changes, change the dynamic allocation for non-LDB databases also. And there may also be deletes and defines or allocates for the type of database that's being changed in the environment. There's IDCAN statements are also needed. And those impact all three of the environments. Changes are made. In general, the first thing we've got to do is determine the scope of the change. What objects are changing? Are the DVDs changing? Are the PSBs changing? Are there any secondary changes? And what process do you use to perform the changes? We're all perfect, so the last button here doesn't apply to us. We don't have errors. But we have to consider how to reset if errors do occur in the process. The object change inventory is made up of a variety of different things. Secondary changes, which cover other objects that have to be changed to agree with the changed object. So the initial change, plus all the secondary changes, equals the full change inventory. Examples of that, we're adding a compression routine. The initial changes to the DVD. The secondary change happens to the PC. Similarly, an increase in the segment length, or adding dataset groups to full function databases impact initially the DVD. They may also impact the PCB's application programs and access of database. And then also MDA members, BRC definitions, and statements. Let's take a look at the change process. The first thing we want to do is back up the original objects. We want to back up the source, or we want to back up generated source if we can't find the original source. In those objects, there may be version control statements, or you may have a version control system that can help keep track of the originals. Then we have to change the source. We'll change inventory. We have to change DVDs. We need DVL. We have to change MDA members. If we're adding dataset groups or taking dataset groups away. We have to change DBRC. LDB especially, because LDBs reside in DBRC. And we have to change it. There's a delete, define, and alter that has to occur to implement the change to the objects that were. Once the source changes are made, we have to generate the produced objects into the staging area of some type. DVD gens, ACB gens, leaks, and defines. We want to keep them separate from the original, so we put them in some type of staging area. It's pretty obvious with ACB gens. 3 ACB libraries. There's a staging library, and then the active libraries A or B. And we have to perform the database maintenance. Whether it's simple change to DBRC that we'll implement, or reorg the database, whatever process we need to do to implement the change to the object that you want. Once that change has been made through the database maintenance, you have to copy the stage objects to the active object. And when the database comes back online, it's ready to use. Then we have to issue commands to activate the new code. It's along change, import. If you're using a product like BMC's Delta Plus or Delta, reload objects into the online environment. These type of changes that are generated and copied vary by the different environments. They may end up in a ACB live stage, or they may end up in the staging directory. For non-managed ACBs and no catalog, the DVD gen and ACB gen go to staging data set. Staging data sets are external to IMS. The object has to be taken offline, move in any dynamic allocation members, changes, and then issue DBRC. And perform the reorg, index build, and image copies with the products that you use to reorganize data. Then you have to copy the staged ACB to the inactive ACB line to display modify once you've done an online change to switch the ACB line. If you're using a single-step reorg product, some of these things can be performed by that product. The Maxim Reorg Online product, we have a DBRC update keyword that will perform the DBRC changes for you during the reorg. And as I mentioned before, if you've got Delta or Delta Plus, it can be used in a single-step reorg also to migrate the changes to the active library during the reorganization process. When we introduce the catalog, there are some other things that have to occur. The DVD gen and ACB gen still have to occur, but then you get the catalog populated, moving changed objects into the catalog. The catalog maintains the staging record. So the active record in the catalog is determined by the timestamp. It's used to match to the active ACB. That happens once the catalog is populated and the import is done. rework DVRC and MBA changes are exactly the same as when you don't have a catalog. So you have to run my change and do a modify to move that object into the active library. The key thing with the catalog is to remember to purge it periodically, because all entries are saved in the catalog until a purge is run. With IMS managed ACBs, catalog and the bootstrap dataset. The bootstrap dataset provides information to IMS as to what the directories are, how many there are. The ACB chain catalog populate is also used, or you can submit DDL. DDL works through batch or through IMS Explorer for development. It produces stage records, adds directory members to staging directory. Staging directory is not external like the ACB library. It's part of the online system. Once the ACB changes have been made or the DDL has been submitted, you reorganize the database as you normally would with a database change. Following that, the removal command, source catalog, activates the stage change. It moves the staging directory members to be active. Not all DVD changes require a reload. Any physical layout change, where you're adding compression, changing randomizers, adding segments, things like that, reorganization will be needed. Any dataset changes are going to require the BRC to be changed, or MBA members to be changed. Adding, removing, changing dataset groups or partitions. You're making strictly logical changes. You may only require an ACB change. You're adding field metadata. You're adding field definitions to previously unused space. If you're renaming or reordering non-keyed fields, or if you're adding or changing remarks. In those cases, an ACB gen would be done, and the changes would then be moved in. That's all I've got at this point. I can tell you that over the years, changing databases has become second nature to a lot of us. As we're raising up new DBAs and new systems programmers in an IMS environment, they may need to learn these things. They may need to know how to do that. They may not know everything that we know. Sometimes we think. When you're changing IMS objects, you have to make sure that you've inventoried everything that needs to change when you make a simple change to it. That's all I've got. Thank you, Trevor.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Has anyone got any questions? If you type them in, then I'll read them out, and I will ask Glenn to answer them if you can. I'll just wait quietly for a few moments while anyone types in their questions. Yeah. Okay, well, I can't see any coming up. So what I will say is thank you very much, Glenn. Because we're a virtual user group, can you assume that you're now getting a virtual round of applause from your audience? So yes, thank you. I'll take control back of the meeting. Okay. I'm just giving one more look at questions, see if anything's coming up. Right now, I'll go back to my slides. Yeah, thanks, Glenn. That was good. Right, let's. Right. Yes, IMS news. As you can see, the three dots mean that I haven't actually seen any news. So if you do know of any IMS news that we've missed here, if you can email me and let me know, that would be brilliant. But as for articles, there have been a few. So go ahead, be picky, import only the DVDs and PSBs that you want. That's written by Sandy Stube, and that's on the Z Systems developer community, and that was put there on the 19th of September. Then there's avoiding downtime, bottlenecks, and other dramas with better IMS Connect workload routing. That's written by Tracy Dean, and that's also on the Z Systems developer community. That was added on the 9th of September. New Zoe enhancements add DevOps value to IBM IMS. That's by Haley Fong. That's also on Z Systems developer community. That was added on the 16th of August. And the direct links to all these articles website on the articles page. So feedback requests then. I'll be interested in your feedback about this meeting. You can email your comments to me. My address is on screen at the moment, or you can use the Contact Us webpage. So coming soon then. As you can see, our next meeting will be on the 3rd of December, when we've got Gary Euler, a consultant with Maintegrity Inc., and he's going to be discussing keeping multiple IMS LPAs synchronized while complying with GDPR and PCI DSS standards. That should be quite interesting. And then on the 4th of February, we haven't confirmed the speaker yet, but we're hoping it'll be someone from IBM. Can I remind you that you can keep up to date with what's happening in the world of IMS and on the virtual IMS user group website by following us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can also join the virtual IMS group on LinkedIn. The URLs to all of these, well, they're on screen now, but they're also on the homepage of the website. And of course, social media, everyone likes likes. So if you do go to our Facebook page, you can like it. That would be good. And if you tweet or Instagram, then our hashtag is virtual IMS. Okay, well, that's all for this meeting of the virtual IMS user group. Can I thank you all for attending? I must thank Rocket Software. They're the people who sponsor this user group and make these meetings possible. And I particularly want to thank Glenn Witt for today's presentation. So that's it. Thank you all very much for joining the meeting, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the 3rd of December. So thank you and goodbye.